Good morning, everybody. This is Gina joining you again from our family's ranch or farm down in deep South Texas. I am here today on the porch of what was my grandparents' house. I'm going to be taking you inside on a bit of a tour of the house to see what we've been doing. This house has been vacant for about 10 years at this point. My grandparents moved out of it and into nursing home during the last several years of their life. And so the house has been vacant for some time. There has not always been power to the house during that time period. There has not always been water in the house during that time period. And so, there is some things in the house that have deteriorated. That's one of my brother's cats. We have several cats here that help us control the mouse and rat population. They are what you would call farm cats or barn cats. They are basically semi-feral. They do come and eat food every day. We feed them just enough to keep them around and friendly. Forgive the toilet on the porch. We're not that country. Like I said, we are remodeling. So that has recently been pulled out. Actually, I think my brother brought it out of the house yesterday. Again, this porch faces north. My grandmother had this added on to the house about 10 years after the house moved in. She had this added onto the house, and this is where she would sit and have her tea in the evenings after she got back from work. She just absolutely loved this porch and sitting out here listening to nature. And my grandpa would come out and have his coffee in the morning and sit out here and cool off after he'd be working out in the field or out in the garden. For those of you who were out here back when they were around, the garden would have been here to the east. It would have been in this space here. He kept a very large garden in that area, which was where we got most of our fruits and vegetables when we were growing up. There were 4 houses on this property at one point in time. The house that is off in that direction is currently my parents' house, but when I was a child, my aunt and uncle and their family lived there. Of course, the house we're at right now is my grandparents'. I mentioned in the previous video that my great-grandmother's house was here, and off in that general direction, you may see a couple of power poles that way. We had our home in that area when I was a child. We moved into the other home when I was in high school after my aunt and uncle moved out of the property. So we'll go ahead and go inside. I've already unlocked the door and all of those things, turned on the lights so we can see what's going on inside. This is the living and dining room. This is Daphne. Daphne is an excellent mouser and ratter. Hi girl. She is my brother's cat. My brother during COVID actually came and stayed over at this house so that he could be close to my parents without being in their home. My brother is a professor. He lectures at the university that is near here. He is an art professor, and he wanted to make sure my parents were okay and be able to check on them, bring them groceries and all of those kinds of things. So he actually temporarily moved in here for a couple of months. The house was not in the best condition. Again, there was no central air. There was water at that point in time. There was power to the house. He was able to use the kitchen and one of the bedrooms and one of the bathrooms, but the rest of the house was pretty much off limits because it had all been used, as you can see, for storage. It did not have central air, which was the main reason why he didn't occupy the whole house. He cleaned, that area of the house. So that area is in a little bit better condition than the rest of this, but we have been working for the past several weeks on getting this ready for my parents to move into. For anybody who came here when my grandparents were alive, you would have known that they had couches and chairs, obviously, in this part of the room. Those were given away to family members right after they moved out of the house. The couches were, the chairs, obviously armchairs and things like that, just sat here in the house that had obviously no AC or heat, and they somewhat deteriorated. The fabrics of them did. So we have since disposed of those. Closing the door because you can hear the highway noise, I believe. This is obviously the dining room. This was my grandma's dining room table. We are currently using it as storage for things for the cat and things for cleaning. You can see out the beautiful bay window there. We did put in some window units in some of these rooms because we are working in here. This is the kitchen. There's Daphne. She's going to probably join us on this tour. I have done a lot of work in here, a lot of work in here. This, you may be wondering if you've been here before, family, where's Grandma's table? Well, Grandma's table was sold. We had a good friend of mine who was in need of a dining room table for her and her family, and she purchased Grandma's table. And this is actually one of my tables that is here for the time being. This was the laundry room and my grandpa's work room. I won't turn the lights on in there because it's scary. And this side of the house, this is where the cat food is kept. Don't wonder. You have to keep everything in metal around here because of mice and rats. This was the area my brother was in, which is why this area is more clean. Obviously, we have the bathroom that he was using, the west bedroom, and then this one that is tied shut because the door latch doesn't work and we haven't replaced it yet. Was my grandpa's bedroom, and we have it shut so the cat won't go in there because my brother has a bunch of his materials and comics and things from his old business stored in there. And then, so that's the basics of the house. You cannot tell that we have been putting a lot of effort into cleaning this house, but we have, the scary part is behind this door. So this was the master bedroom. My grandparents did not share a bedroom because my grandfather snored so loudly. So this was my grandmother's bedroom. The bedroom itself is not scary. It's a little messy because we've been cleaning it out, like I said, and we're also doing repairs. What's scary is actually behind door number 2. I will preface this with saying that many of you know that in February of 2021, there was a very bad freeze across the state of Texas, and there were plumbing issues that a lot of people had. We came over here and checked the plumbing, thought everything was good. We don't believe there was a leak right after that. We believe that maybe the plumbing became brittle, and at some point following that, there was a pretty bad leak in my grandmother's restroom, which is the master restroom, which was through that door. But it also backed up to the closet. And I will try not to breathe too much. That's the result. A lot of black mold. It has been sprayed with chemicals. We believe the black mold is dead. We typically don't come in here without respirators on. We will be taking out a lot of this drywall and carpet and renovating this closet because this will be, again, the master bedroom where my parents will be. My mom has COPD, and that would not be good for her. There is a similar situation in the bathroom. I won't go in there and show you the destruction in there. But that is why the toilet is on the front porch, because that all has to come out. Again, we do not believe that this happened right after the freeze in 2021. We believe that because of either the water being turned off or because the freeze possibly weakened the pipes, that occurred sometime within the past couple of months. And nobody was over here at this point because my brother only stayed here for the high part of the pandemic. And then he has since been living with my parents, helping take care of them. And nobody knew that this slow leak was occurring. We do not come over here regularly, other than my brother comes over here every day to check on Miss Daphne, make sure she has food and water, clean her litter box, that kind of thing. But But that didn't include going in that bedroom because we would always have that door shut, so Miss Daphne would stay out. It wasn't until very recently that we realized that when we started cleaning this house, that we went in there to start getting that area ready, and we noticed the disaster we had on our hands. So that's going to be the biggest part of our project, is going to be pulling out the drywall, pulling out the carpet, from obviously starting with the closet, but we're going to be taking out the carpet from the entire room. We're going to be taking out the drywall from the bathroom and the closet, redoing possibly some of the flooring in the bathroom, putting in a new toilet. There wasn't really anything wrong with the toilet other than, probably the seals needed to be replaced. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So we might as well finish remodeling everything else, right? So if we're going to take out walls and do things like that, we're going to put in a new toilet as well, and probably maybe do something about the cabinetry and that kind of thing. But first, stuff has to come out. Then it will be having a plumber come in and repair the actual plumbing. The house does need a new water heater, which we will be getting that as well. And then we will be replacing all of the drywall and taping and floating and painting and all of those kinds of things to make this place nice and safe for my parents, health-wise. So again, let's talk about the to-do list here. So aside from cleaning out the house and getting it move-in ready, and cleaning out the outdoor structures of all of the stuff that's stored out there, to make it a little safer for my parents, we have to replace this AC unit, central air unit for the house. That has not been working for some time. There is also currently no electrical going to that because we had to redo the electrical panel that came to this house, and the electrician who did it said that whoever had wired the electrical to this AC unit, this central AC, had done it incorrectly, and he was going to charge us more to fix that. And at that point in time, we really just wanted to get power onto the house so we could start cleaning in here. So we did that first. We'll be doing the electrical. To get to the AC, we'll be replacing the central AC, which will include taking out all of these window units. But in the interim, we have several more window units that will be put around the house, at least for us to be working in here and to get my parents in initially. We're probably going to move them in before we have the central air up and going, because that's going to be a big expense. So we're going to get everything else done, and central air will probably be last. The central air work will likely include replacing all of the ductwork. As you can see, there looks like there's insulation coming out of some of the vents, and we believe that squirrels or rats got into the attic of the home and into the ductwork, and well, now the ducts need replacing. So that will also come when we replace the central air unit. I mentioned that we would be taking the carpet out of the closet and the master bedroom, and redoing all of the flooring in there. We will be shampooing the living dining room carpet to start doing really, really good multi-pass shampooing on these carpets. Initially, at least to get my parents in here, but then we will be pulling out this carpet in the living dining area as well and replacing it with probably some type of vinyl plank or other kind of flooring like that would be easy for us to install ourselves. In the kitchen, there is some plumbing work that needs to be done under the sink. It was not a leak. We just need to replace a few things so that we don't have future leaks. We do want to replace the faucet, probably not the sink, but definitely the faucet. This dishwasher, I believe it is not original to the home or even the second to the home. I believe my uncle bought this for my grandparents later in their stay here. It no longer works. It does have power. You can see those lights flashing. We probably need to get back there and unplug it. But it does not work. So that will need to be replaced. But my parents don't currently have a working dishwasher. As my dad says, he's the dishwasher. So they can get in here without a dishwasher, but we do want to get that replaced and make life just a little bit easier for them. So I haven't turned these on. I suspect that they both work. Um, that would be the stove, oven, and then the microwave, which is also the vent. These are fairly new compared to the home. There was a fire in this kitchen. Gosh, I don't remember the year. I was in college, so it's probably been almost 20 years. So these are newer. They came after the fire. They were the replacements to the gas stove that was here. However, we'll probably replace these eventually as well. We probably will bring over my parents' current setup and install it here. There is no refrigerator in the house right now. That fridge died many, many moons ago. But my parents actually have two refrigerators, so they'll probably bring one of those here and place it inside the kitchen, the larger of the two, and the second one, which actually is an old one of mine, will likely go out onto the back porch. Forgive the lighting. I need to replace the overhead light, so I just have a lamp in here. This is inside the laundry room where obviously, if you can tell by that, the washer and dryer go. We just need to repair some holes that were put in the wall by my grandpa possibly when he was moving things around. But we need to repair this, and then my parents' washer and dryer can come in here. I mentioned in one of my last videos that this was also my grandpa's workshop. And a lot of his workshop is still here. My grandfather repaired instruments, musical instruments. So all of the tools and equipment and chemicals and things that you would need to repair woodwind instruments, replace pads on woodwind instruments, rekey things, fix brass instruments, restring things, anything you needed to repair wood or brass instruments. He has here. And so we need to go through this, sort it out, see if it's things that people would want to either purchase or we could give away maybe to a high school band or the university's band, somebody that's interested in those kinds of things. My grandfather was skilled in what he did, and it is a rare skill. So, if we can't sell it, we would like to at least bless somebody with it so that his legacy can continue on. This back part of the house, which is where my brother was staying, includes the west bedroom, what was my grandfather's bedroom, and the second bathroom. It's pretty good. There's not really much that needs to be done in here. This is where my brother was staying. This was the side of the house that he lived on. The bedroom, his storage for his old business, the bathroom, and the kitchen. And so everything in here, aside from replacing the appliances, is in pretty good shape. This is the back porch. There's Miss Daphne again joining us from the window. This has also been used as storage. This was used as storage by my grandparents because they didn't really come out here much. That is actually a cabinet full of musical instruments and musical instrument parts, and there's all kinds of stuff out here. My boyfriend's kayak, electrical fences that we use for the chickens in the summer for moving them around the property, and then all of my grandpa's various things that he would not let us give away. That's actually the ice cream churn we used to use as kids to make ice cream. They would have us sit on it and take turns spinning the handle. And then just all kinds of stuff. All of my grandparents' deep freezes and a mini fridge that was mine. All of these things need to be cleaned out. My mini fridge still works, so we'll be bringing that inside temporarily. But yeah, a lot of this stuff, old wood chippers and things that used to, an old tiller. These are all things that used to be used on this property when it was a working farm and ranch. But none of it works anymore. Very similar to the ranch, is not working right now. To the south of us is where my grandmother's brother used to live. He had 2/3-ish of the rest of the family property. He passed several years ago, left the property to his children, and they have since sold the property to someone. You can kind of see the house there through the trees. They have since sold the property to the brother-in-law of one of his children, I believe. But to you know, an associated family friend type of situation, and they have done a lot of work cleaning up that property, and it is turning into something really beautiful, like it hadn't been in a really long time. And that's kind of what I would love to see happen here over time. That we, now that we're adults and more stable ourselves, obviously we moved away for college and, you know, starting our lives. We still live, I still live fairly far away and can only come home on certain weekends, but I'd like to be here more often now that I'm able to, and, you know, help out my parents more. My brother, even though he does live here on the property, he works at the university, which is out of town, and so he is not able to be here during the day. And so we only really have time on the weekends to fix things up, and when tractors break down or lawnmowers break down, things can go out of hand pretty quickly, as you can see by the grass in this backyard. But yeah, we're going to be working to clean up this stuff. We've already been here, like I said, for the past couple of weekends, several weekends actually, cleaning out the house. It may be hard to tell, but it is a work in progress. Thank you guys for watching this video. It's gotten way too long, so I'm going to sign off now. Hope to see you on our next video, and hopefully you'll see a lot of progress.